On the release of the Switch 2, we began the Switch 2 Shiny Living Dex challenge, which meant we started fresh games on every single Switch title: Scarlet, Violet, Legends Arceus, Brilliant Shining Pearl, Sword, Shield, and eventually ZA, and Fire Red Leaf Green. So we're going to have a little look at what we've got so far and look back at some of the funnier nicknames that we've managed to put together with our funky nickname themes. So we have got a Bulbasaur and Ivysaur. We've got a Squirtle. When we look back at some of these, we do look at some of the ideas that we went hard on sandwiches early. We've stopped doing that. We didn't go too hard on ZA. We especially didn't use any hyperspace ones unless it was a full run around hyperspace. None of the spamming of the portals or anything. So we ended up getting a Kakuna, Beedrill, Pidgeotto and Pidgeot. But most recently in Madar we got ourselves a Fearow. We do like doing a bit of radar, so we got a Pikachu there, a DA Sans, a Alolan Sandslash, and a Zubat from Legends Arceus. We continued, we did a little bit in Scarlet where we were trying to get the Paradox ones and found ourselves a Venomoth. And of course we got Psyduck and Golduck, two of the channel's favourites quite early on, a Hisuian Growlithe and a Kadabra. Machop, Machoke, Tentacle, Alolan Geodude, and Normal Golem. And Ponytail, which we found quite a lot recently. The Alolan Grimer, no, Normal Grimer that one is. The whole Ghastly line. Another one of the radar ones was Drowsy, Executor, and Cubone. One of our very few Christmas ones. Lickitung, Rhyhorn, Rhydon, Tangler, Kangaskhan, Staryu, Cypher, which took 2,000 encounters in ZA, which was ridiculous. Electabuzz named Terry. One of the many phases for that Cypher was Pinsir. And we have actually got the Fire and Water type Tauros, because they are two of the hardest ones. There is Magikarp, female Magikarp, and both Gyarados. The male Eevee was one of the very first outbreaks in Legends Arceus, so a fantastic early catch. And Ditto is a modern, very funny clip. Once we hit into Johto, Blathers here is one of the Shiny Professor Voice Shinies, which was on Route 1 in Galar Full Odds, which we've been trying to work on. We'll get to more of them later. Spinarak, Cleffa was another Professor Oak's challenge that we are taking part in. We got a Togepi when we were learning Radar. This one feels very much like a lot of things that have happened here. We got to the Shelfer Ampharos, we know where that came from. Marill and Azumarill, they were card hunts. Hoppip has become the thing that haunts me most. We've had so many spare Hoppips. We got an Apom, a Fish, a Radar Sunken, Yanma, Wooper, and both genders of Murkrow. This would be the unknowns, we haven't got any. Wobbuffet from Sword. Dunsparce, of course, we got both Glygars. Quillfish, that's the Hisuian one. A Heracross, one of the many spawns that we got looking for Cypher. And Sneasel, which turns up everywhere in me to find every game seemingly. And there is our Swinub. We got Remoraid from one of our many adventures in Arceus. Delibird was pretty early on in ZA. A Houndoom from Radar, a Stantler from Arceus. This was back in the sandwich days. We got both of these very quickly in that cave that glitches out the Larvatars. We got a Poochyena, a Silcoon, and a female Butterfree. No, Beautyfly. Lotad, one of my favourite shinies. Recently, more radar hunts. We've got Swallow, Surskit, and Ralts, all from Madar. Nincada was also a radar hunt, and this was the Paldean adventure, which we were doing for a while. Sableye appears a lot, not gonna lie. Medicham plus or Minun is one of the very few we took advantage of an event outbreak, because they're quite difficult to hunt in ZA, Scarlet and Violet. Rosalia turned up everywhere. So we got more. These two were my first two radar hunts, Baltoy and Claydol. The Cradilly came from a DA, which was fantastic. And Castform, we do actually have all 4 types. We'll get to them very shortly. Previous longest hunt in a radar chain. This is also a radar chain, I believe. We've had quite a lot of snow runs over the years in different games. And the Sheldon. So here are the other Castforms. I can't change the forms, but we've got them registered as if we got them. We did do a lot in Arceus at the beginning, so Turtwig, Starly, B-Barrel, both these 4 and the Shinx were our first 4 in the whole adventure, I believe. And we've also got a Luxio. We also have a Roserade, which probably came from ZA. A female Combee, which was massive to get when we're doing a Form Dex, along with Pachirisu, Buizel, and both Shellos. One has just appeared with this Gastrodon in Radar. Both the Drifblim. This is also a very funny one. This was the first one we got in Scarlet and Violet. I wasn't paying attention when we were streaming, and we ran straight into it. And it happened to be shiny. There's also a Stun Tank, first DA, second DA shiny, but first dupe. Bronzor, Chatot is an alpha. We did a whole stream looking for Chatot, and we got a Shelfer first. Mime, Junior, Gibble, Gabite, and 2 of the Hippos. Skorupi we did a whole hunt for, got it. Both of these. This is going to be a Toxicroak, I just haven't evolved it. Carnivine, Snova, and a Abomasnow. I believe this has a rare mark. Licky Licky and Yanmega. We got a Rotom, and here are 2 of our first legends. We have Azelf and Uxie. In Gen 5, there's going to be a few from ZA, but Duot came from Arceus. This is ZA, Patrat Watchog, but this was Sword and Shield. Took well over 1,000 encounters, as did the Pidove, but these are, the 3 monkeys are definitely ZA. They got a Shelfer out of them. Same with these 3. The Venipede, Whirlipede, Scolipede. Pretty sure these 2 would have been 2. Let's be honest, they were very easy to get. Scarlet and Violet for the Swadloon, and we have our 2 Petalil and Hisuian Lilligant. We've got 2 of the Basculin. One was from ADA, and one was from Arceus. This was actually our first DA shiny, the Crocodile, and we did get a second one very quickly. Scraggy, because one of our viewers loves Scraggy. Trubbish and Garbodor, of course, ZA, and Zora, very early one as well in Arceus. Solosis was a timed hunt, took a while, but we got it. We've got one of the dealing, we do need quite a lot more. Amolga was an assigned hunt in ZA. When we were looking for just an Alpha Onyx, we got like 4 shinies in that zone. And we got a Jellicent from a DA. Sandwich time again, we did spam sandwiches for these 2. Akshu was a bit of a happy accident as well. We were hunting for Heatmore, and the Overworld spawn was the shiny Akshu. We've also got a Cubchoo from one of the events. DA for the Druddigon, and a target hunt for the Golett when we do the cards and stuff like that. In this one we have a Bisharp, the Dino line that haunted us a lot. Then these 3 of all Cobalion, Terrakion and Virizion are all from ZA. Good hunt, good fun hunts. Kiram was a very quick DA hunt. Into Kalos we got the whole Fletchling line. You know where that came from quite clearly, but I believe the Fletchling might have actually come from a targeted hunt in Sword Scarlet and Violet. Scatterbug was Scarlet and Violet, and Vivillon it was not. The Flababies, yeah, you guessed it. All of this was ZA, but these 2 were both from Scarlet and Violet, and we have been working our way further through Furus. We still have a couple left to get. I think some are Shelfer. We got 2 Shelfers, and we got an Esper and a Meowstic, which I think the Meowstic might have been Scarlet and Violet. Dragougi, Clauncher, and Helioptile. Dedenne, of course, that was Scarlet and Violet. We need to evolve this and this because we fell behind on knowing which was which. a Noibat and a Bergmite, and we got the reward for Canyon for completing the Dex. Moving on to Alola, we got the Rowlet. It was a really random find. I got assigned to get it. The first one we ran into was a shiny. Crabrawler, again, nice one on the beach. Dynamax Adventure, Lycanroc. Mudbray, Shiinotic from Glimwood Tangle. Salazzle was a good find. Oranguru is a funny clip. Double Oranguru, had one in battle, another shiny ran behind it. Bruxish is one of my favourite shinies, so it was good to get that early. And Drampa was what we got looking for Furfrou. Jangmo was an assignment. We've got Tapu Koko and Tapu Lele and Lunala all very recently, as well as finally a Blacephalon, so that is very good. Into Galar, we got the Grookey line in one stream, the Sobble pretty quickly. This came from 25 encounters. Trying to hunt for Wooloo, I saw a brilliant aura, I thought I'd have a look, and it was shiny. Rookity came from a rock sandwich and a cloth outbreak. Corviknight was the most crazy steel sandwich we had. We got about 8 shinies in one steel sandwich, and Corviknight was the penultimate. Blipbug is the second part of the Shiny Professor Voices challenge. It took so long, nearly 8,000 encounters. Feeble, I believe, may have been a DA. Gossifleur took ages with Shiny Charm, we were over 2,000 on that. Choodle is one that's very easy to go for, so probably Sword and Scarlet Violet. Yampa took a while, but it was Shiny Charm, so it was about 1,000. Carco, another accident that we got in the middle of the desert, the Asiado Desert. This one came in Scarlet and Violet, but this also was a Glenwood Tangle shiny. Stonejourner, again, we were trying to complete Scarlet because we have the DLC in Violet, so that was the focus. And 2 more members of the crazy Steel Sandwich. Galar, that was it for Galar. Onto Paldea, like I've said, we did a lot of time on sandwiches here, so we wanted to focus on things, but some of them were happy accidents, like Lechonk and Oinkologne. Dashbun, we were targeting, don't get me wrong, and so was this line, the Dolive line, very difficult to get. Squawkabilly just kept turning up, all the different colours. We still need the blue one, so one left. Knackley, I think we were looking for Cloth probably. Bramblin and Toadscrew were pretty easy to go for, and Capsakid I went for during an event because it's quite a difficult shiny to see, and we can change them up if we want to in the future. Spaffra came from looking for a Psychic one for one of the previous challenges. Then we have a Tink, which was a happy accident too. These 2 again were from that very broken steel sandwich, along with the Earthworm. Cyclizar, I overdid with the sandwich time. This was an outbreak. I don't think we used Sparkling Power on it. Veluza, we did. These we did 100%. I did a stream where we were trying to get all of the Paradox in one. We got Great Tusk, Screamtail, Brute Bonnet, Fluttermane, Sliverwing and Sandy Shocks all in one stream. Only the Sliverwing took more than one sandwich, but we haven't really focused too much on the Violet ones because we played a lot, so we haven't really needed to sandwich up. But we did get an Iron Treads, as you can see here, an Iron Valiant. That was a card, that's where it was targeted. We do something on the channel where we draw a card and people can assign us targets. Frigibacks was from the Outbreak event, and I have given myself these 4, the Beads of Ruin, because we did do some of the raids on stream. I did get quite a lot of spares, and the Roaring Moon took ages. It took about 5 sandwiches. It was haunting us. So that is what we've got so far. It is a total of about 282. One of the big notable ones that is not on here yet is going to be the Sill from Leaf Green, and I am actually planning on replacing the Kakuna. There are actually a couple more that we need to just quickly show off, which is here. We have decided we were including the Megas. I made a box just for them, so this is going to become the Mega Gengar, because I miscounted and seem to have lost something. I don't know why I counted Ghastly twice, but we can make it the Gengar, or it was something I was going to evolve but didn't do. Spare, Dragalge, Ordino, Heracross and Beedrill. Of course the Heracross came from the Cypher hunt. The Beedrill has come from the Pumpkaboo Furfrou hunt, because I tend to run through 15 and 18, and it's Beedrill after Beedrill, not Pumpkaboos. We found 2 in all of our time doing that, and we spent months on it. And note, they are the gifts. This way is the Gigantamax. I'm not going to force the Gigantamax forms onto them. I can do it to the Corviknight, I cannot do it to the Garbodor. So we may try and do it eventually, but these 2 are the 2 that we've got that we are considering the extras. That is actually everything. So when we do little events, we do collect a lot of spares. As you can see here, we have plenty of spare shinies that we do give away in our little attempt to mix up all of our hunts and replace the old dexes with different trainer names. We won't spend too much time going through them because there are so many. But yeah, that is kind of what we do. As you can see, I even got spare cast forms because we had a really broken chain on them. Here, the Maida that we've just spoken about, all of these weasels came from there. That is spare. So with the Ponytas a bit further back. This box is always going to be here for my times and times in ZA. Well, Gen 5 and 6 do not have too many shinies. Each game does contain a vault, so hopefully there will be some fun little giveaways for everybody. As you can see, there isn't too much in most of these. This one is very full because I did do a lot in the early days of the game. But generally speaking, that is about all we've got. So that is what we've got. I will show one final thing off, because if you are watching this in June 2026, one of our incentives for a charity event that we are doing with the Acid Group is for the Trevor Project, and I am giving away any of these shinies from my original Pokedex from, pretty much any of these. I've got a couple of duplicates. I do still have more spares of these 4 because I got too many, and it does include a Fione. So that is everything. If you want to see the continued adventures in our Switch 2 Shiny Living Dex challenge, it will be on twitch.tv/voiceslock. Feel free to come along and enjoy some of our hunts and help us pick some shinies from magic cards. Random numbers, random things, collect your badges, you get involved. Everyone helps pick our hunts. This is a great opportunity to join in and have some fun with us. Thank you for watching the update. I will bring up a Year 2 one, hopefully, if we are still going strong. Have a great day and catch all those shinies.